Fishing trips anywhere, anytime. FishingBooker.com.
All right, guys.
Hunting is not easy. It never has been. It takes dedication, motivation, a lot of patience, and quality gear. If you manage a food plot, put up stands, or need just one more game camera, we can help at MidwayUSA.com. We opened our doors in 1977 and continue to put customers first by offering super fast, same-day shipping. For just about everything for the outdoors, go to MidwayUSA.com.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Welcome back yet another week here on the Outdoor Drive Podcast, episode 295. This is your boy East Coast Trev. Steve is still up in Canada. A couple of updates there. There's definitely some bears in the dirt if you guys are following along on social media. Stevie shot a really nice one. Can't wait to hear the stories. I know Seth had one. It's been a really good week up there in Canada for those boys. Here, we are in a heat wave, and things are a little bit crazy. I've been out doing a little bit of fly fishing, kind of messing around, scouting, getting ready for the season, putting up trail cameras, and really looking forward to the upcoming deer season and kind of prepping up for that, shooting the bow, getting the dust off of that. TAC has been going on, some real good events coming, so make sure to follow along. The summer's here. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. We have a real good podcast with Jake Belinda. Actually, he went from being a professional baseball athlete to now a full-time hunter and filming and content creation. So make sure to go and check him out on The Void. We'll kind of get and run through the sponsors, and we'll get right into it. We'll keep it short because, obviously I'm sitting here talking to myself, and it's super awkward then to have Stevie with me here. So we'll definitely keep this one super short. Nothing really much to talk about other than the great sponsors that we have. As far as that goes, there is always sales in the off season, so make sure to follow those guys and kind of check them out. I don't think there's anything crazy. I know Latitude has some really cool things coming out as the season progresses, so follow those guys. But first off, Bowtech, refuse to follow. As I say every week, go and shoot a Bowtech. If you're thinking about a new bow, go and shoot a Bowtech because Bowtech refused to follow the new magnesium bows, carbon bows. I shoot the Carbon SS. Kind of got that thing tuned in with the new stand release. I was actually started with an XL. Now I'm down to a large. So it was just kind of trying to fine tuning, so we've been shooting a ton of that, and especially my traditional bow, messing around with that. Now it's nice. There's a ton of 3D shoots. There was a local club this past weekend. I wish I missed it. I went to it, but I actually missed it. So hopefully I'll be shooting those here soon. I did get down to the range this past week, and I shot my new 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum. What a cool gun. I can't wait to shoot a deer with it. That is what I'm setting out as a goal, is to shoot the 460, shoot a deer with the 460. Super fun to shoot. I was a whole different ball game as far as it goes to revolver, so super fun to shoot that. Latitude Outdoors, latitudeoutdoors.com, Carbon SS sticks. There is the Ranger 22. I think it's actually on sale. They actually came out with the new platform in a 2.0, so go and check that out, the profile platform. Head on over to latitudeoutdoors.com. Use the promo code OutdoorDrive. Save yourself some with those guys. And then Working Class Bowhunter, workingclassbowhunter.com. WCB, the boys over there, Kurt, Doug, Eric, Lee, there's Austin, all real good guys over there. They actually just came out with a new t-shirt, Stay Mad. If you guys get onto their merch stuff, use the promo code Outdoor Drive. Save yourself a little bit over there. The Kill Bottle, make sure to have one of those in deer camp. So go and check those guys out. They do, and if you haven't listened to a Working Class Bowhunter podcast, you are missing out. They have been the ones that paved the way for us as podcasters and just letting loose and having fun. So check my boys out there over at Working Class Bowhunter. Huntworth Gear, huntworthgear.com. The new Durham pants that we've been running for years. using them when it's warm out. They're great to have in the arsenal for the early season, but don't forget about your cold gear stuff too. The Matterhorns late season. Now's the time to get it. They run a ton of sales throughout the summer, so check those guys out, huntworthgear.com. Fourth Arrow camera arms. For all of you that are self-filming, thinking about self-filming, this podcast is all about self-filming and filming. Go and check out Fourth Arrow camera arms, from the monopod to the satellite. There's a ton of really good stuff, high end. If you're running a bigger camera, Fourth Arrow camera arms is the place for you to be. And then last but not least, our good friends Aaron Satterfield, Saddies LLC. If you guys are thinking about going to tungsten, no better time than to get it now, because you have a whole entire summer and fall before next year for turkey hunting season. If you guys saw us blasting away turkeys with the tungsten from Saddies, or if you're a waterfowl hunter or a coyote, you're looking for some varmint rounds as far as, shotgun, go and check out my man Aaron over at Saddies LLC. You can get them right online. So we appreciate you guys. We're going to fast forward right in. We're going to get Jake on. We're going to talk about self-filming and what it had taken to go from a professional athlete to now a full-time hunter and content creator. So we really appreciate you guys. Next week is the bear hunting recap from Canada. I don't know who's going to be on with us, but I know Stevie's got a lot of stories to tell. I would imagine Seth's going to jump on with us, and hopefully the rest of the boys. So come on, check us out. We appreciate you all, and we'll see you guys next week.
Outdoor Drive.
We're back on with Jake Belinda from PA native. Jake, thanks for joining us, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me on.
I know it's time to be scouting and doing that kind of stuff, so to take the time away around the sunset when you get out of work is probably pretty tough.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a big work week. Well, catch-up week for me. I mean, truth be told, I just got done turkey hunting about a week ago, and then went straight into Total Archery Challenge. We had to tack up here in Pennsylvania, so that's kind of the big kickoff event for a lot of the Northeast guys to kind of get back into the swing of whitetail things. It's, I just busted the bow back out for the first time since last year, so it's knocked the rust off, and it's now deer back on the brain, so it's basically getting everything moving at a fast pace and getting the cameras out. So it's a big transition period.
Yeah. How was the turkey season for you?
It was good. Really good. I mean, started slow in the South. The South kind of didn't treat us very well this year. Weather-related stuff and just uncooperative birds. But I think we ended up, between me and my other, partner, the guy that I was traveling with, we got 23 or 24 on the ground between two of us.
Wow. That's a good season. That's a really good season. What do you think your favorite state was that you traveled to this year?
They're all unique. I try to stay in the hill country just because I know it. I don't like hunting the flats. Michigan was really cool. That was, lower Michigan. It is flat, but like that was my first time ever experiencing, turkey hunting. And they were everywhere. So that was, that stuck out to me. It was just really cool, unique.
Did you see a lack of birds across the country when you were traveling anywhere that was kind of more than less?
I mean, down in the South, it just didn't. I traveled down in the South years ago, probably 6-8 years ago. And, I just remember it being a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if it's like that every year. It's just because you're there only a week window. So it's hard to get the general base going on entirely. But there was a lot of people pressure. Birds weren't talking. You didn't find a lot. And it was hard to even find hens, turkeys in general. And they don't get that rough winter, so I don't know. You can't blame it on the winters or predation. I don't know if it's predation, hunting pressure, habitat. I just don't know what the end result is, but their numbers definitely didn't seem like they used to be.
Yeah, I know. Is it the same kind of in the PA area, or you have a lot of birds in PA, or?
Where I live in this county is extremely high. We got turkeys everywhere. It's arguably one of the best. I mean, which is awesome because they're tough to kill just because of the time frame of the year. And we do have people that hunt them, and they get smart, but you put enough work in, you'll find them for sure. You won't be driving public roads without seeing a bird over a week. Like you might go a day, but the next day you go back and you'll hear 5 or 6 birds and see a bunch of hens along the road. So it's, they're here. It's just, you gotta hit it right.
Yeah, it seems as if some of the New England states have been a little tougher than others. I know, especially our state, it was tough. It was probably one of the tougher seasons. It was, towards the end of the season, especially the end of the season. I mean, I hit 12 different public land spots and not heard a gobble. I mean, it was super tough. And it was like southern hunting. Like, I'm like, what the heck is going on? Which is not normal. I mean, typically we do pretty good. But I know what the cause is of it, but it just sucks. It puts a beating on them.
We've had some, the tornadoes and things coming through, some bad storms at bad times of year for poult production too. The past couple years hasn't helped the whole Midwest Southern stuff. So that could have a factor on it.
Yeah.
Plus hunting numbers. I mean, I'm not a biologist, so I can't tell you, but the states, they know a lot more than I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, why don't we hit this thing right into 4-wheel drive, man? Why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about what you do, Jake?
Yeah, so I guess I'm Jake Belinda. I'm owner and operator of the Void Media and the Void Hunt, which is how I'm transitioning from here on out. I mean, I still do a lot of work behind the camera, so I work full-time for myself. Basically everything in the outdoor industry, from capturing content, being behind the camera, to editing, to producing, the whole 9 yards. It was a self-taught thing that I've been chasing for probably 6-7 years now, but I've been working for myself for the past 3, 2 full-time. So this would be going into the 3rd year coming into this fall. It's not for the faint of heart, but I love it because I love what I do. So I've worked closely with a lot of different brands, a lot of different companies, doing film, photo work, editing work, hunting a lot. But at the end of the day, there always has to be a goal in mind, and whether that be a new product or a story for somebody, it's just a big revolving circle, and I just allowed me to live the lifestyle I want to do.
How did you snap into it? Like, where did it all start for you to get into the whole filming, producing, content creation?
So my past life, I was a professional athlete, and coming from a small school in Pennsylvania, like I always knew I was going to be a professional athlete. Like my heart, I had it from a young age through high school and then going in through college. And my uncle playing in the big leagues for 12 years. So I had kind of the pre-existing name that I had to live up to. But that was all I knew. Baseball was all I knew. So I then, whenever that came to an abrupt end in 2020, basically COVID, I decided what's my next greatest love and passion, and it was hunting and fishing. And I wanted to basically just say, how can I make a living at hunting and fishing? So I picked up a camera. I've always had an eye for the outdoors. I've always liked nature. I used to draw pictures of deer and fish when I was little, and art. So that's kind of how I got that camera ability. And then I took an internship with a YouTube channel, The Untamed, and just learned as much as humanly possible and filmed for a whole fall to get the ins and outs on how this is how a business is structured. This is how you get viewership. This is how you make videos. Just the whole nine. And then basically ran with it and then continued to self-teach myself more of the professionalism. So like the higher end camera equipment and photo work and things along that lines. So it just basically was a mental thing. People want to do it for a living, but they don't want to sacrifice the time, energy, and frankly, the money behind that. You know, I worked 3 different hard jobs. I did commercial roofing. I did shotcrete bridge work with jackhammers, shooting underneath bridges, fixing highway bridges. I did that through the summer, did as much overtime as possible, and then once hunting season came, I quit. I made my year's worth of money from end of March into April through September, and then quit. And that's where I got my gear and chased this dream. And it was 3-4 years in the making until I turned the profit and then could work for myself.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people want that instant gratification, and they just say, "Oh yeah, they did it," or "They did it," and they,
Yep.
you know, they think that they pick up a camera, take a couple pictures, put it on Instagram, and they have $1 million.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. There's not a lot of money in this industry. Like it seems like there is, but there's not. And for the people listening, it is possible to quote unquote hunt for a living, but there's always some other job that you have to do to make that possible. That's just what people see on the internet. And that's the problem right now is people want into it. They're not willing to put forth the energy or the sacrifice for a year, 2, 3 years. I sacrificed 3 years of my life without making any money in it, continuing the chase until I finally had enough portfolio. People trusted me enough. I was determined enough, got good enough, showcased more work, did X, did Y, did a film in Africa, did a film in Idaho, traveled, produced it. Now you're building up that, resume to where people can trust you. And then, I hunted on my own and built all my own content and just continue it. And I'm to this day, this week, I'm continuing stuff. So it's like, it never ends. But I've had young kids like, I want to get into it. I bought a camera. What else do I got to do? I'm like, not work for almost a year and not spend any money and just build that resume until people can trust you to pay you as a full-time job. It's pretty much that.
And people don't realize, and it's honestly that face recognition year after year after year, because there's so many people that come into this industry and they think that, okay, I've been here for 3 months and I've killed 2 deer on film and I'm going to use this, but they don't realize that, like, nobody's going to trust you. That's great. They've been used and abused in every way, shape, or form, or every scam that there is, and that you have to prove yourself. Like, It takes years of, like you're saying, Jake, is just that trustworthy aspect. You're not going to just build a network of people that are going to trust you overnight. It's not going to happen. Not in this industry.
A friend of mine, a perfect example is he calls it grassroots. So, like, I've gotten with some companies and on early stages and did anything I could to help them out. And it started from the grassroots up and tried to build them up as much as I could build myself, and back and forth the whole time. As simple as working trade shows for free, going places and filming, like anything possible, because you just don't know what avenue it might open up for the future. And from there, doors open up where you didn't see them being possible. Mm-hmm. And then it's basically, at that point, life decision on which angle you want to take. I mean, right now, there's this giant demand for editors. Like, if people want to get into the industry, if you're an editor only, you can make your own schedule. You can hunt as much as you want. Just edit on your own time, and technically work in it. I mean, it's that simple, but people don't want to take that risk or they that gratification of they want to do something else. They don't see, it's not something like you get hired to work construction, 2 weeks later you get a paycheck. It's not like that at all.
No,
So,
I call it it's a giver's gain type of industry where you have to give 10% more than you gain, or
yeah,
even 50% more than you gain, because you have to put forth way more effort to do it before that you get recognized or you get accepted, right? You have to give more than you're gonna take. And it's one of those things that, like I had said before, like there's so many people that have scammed this industry or kind of been like, oh, I'll give you X, Y, and Z for ABC, and then they never get that, so they're just like everybody was looking for a handout, and there's the real finds the real in this industry is
no,
really what it comes down to.
that's the years of seeing the same faces. You know who the sticks around. The throwaway culture. They step in, they step out because they have other things that they want to do. They think dabble in it, but they're not all in. And everybody that lives it sees right through that.
Do you think that your professional athlete, first, your professional athlete lifestyle before kind of blended into this one to be able to make it so you achieve more?
Yes. So I talk about it with my girlfriend that lives with me. We live together. It's the same. It's a mentality thing. It's a mental process. So I don't have a backup plan. This is it. Like I don't have another plan to go, oh, if it don't work this year, I'm going to use my degree and go work in that field. I don't have that plan. And that's the thing, is you can't have a backup plan. It's the same thing as like going to be a professional athlete. Every single day I woke up and that's what I wanted to do. So I said, how can I do something to do better today than I was yesterday? It's like that with anything in life. And my cousin's a Navy SEAL, so it's just, I think it's a hard chip in your brain to just kind of say that this is what I'm doing. I'm not going to take no for an answer, and you're just going to continue on that process, and things will fall into place. It just takes time, and you got to be patient for it. And that's just kind of the mentality I've used, and things have fallen into place, but it's taken me years and years and years that people don't see to get to where I'm at, which is not that great, but I'm just now comfortable enough. I finally bought a house. We got a house. Like, to me, that's good, because I'm in the woods 6 months of the year. Like, I just need, a house to cover my head for the other 6 months.
We say that a ton. It's good enough. It's good enough for me. I made it. It's good enough for me. I'm comfortable. I'm happy. It's not, I don't need a mansion on the hill. I don't need $1 million. It's good enough for me.
Yep. Pretty much. That's exactly it. And you got to live within your lifestyle. And that's the thing about this industry, is it's a lifestyle. It's not a job. It's not where you're going to make $1 million. It's a lifestyle choice. And that was the deciding factor for me, is like, I can go in September, for instance, like this year in September, I have elk tags like I did last year. I get to go live in the mountain for a month and not have to worry about work. I can literally just live my life. I've set my life up this way where I can go for the entire duration that I want to go. And that's to me the trading factor of not making $200,000 a year in like other businesses. Well, I get to go live on a mountain for a month and explore Mother Nature and just enjoy the world, and that to me is priceless.
Yeah, I don't think that you can put a dollar amount on that to have the simplistic way of life and be stress free and want to do what you want to do. Like, there is no price to be given on that.
And I've been seeing it a lot because the unfortunate passing of Phil Robertson, but that famous quote where he, I'm in the woods every day fishing. I don't know why more people wouldn't want to be on board with that. It's as simple as that. That's the lifestyle that I choose to live, and I can make enough money to continue that process right now. So I'm happy.
That's what you continue to do. Yeah. So talk about a little bit of like what it had entailed as far as like going through that internship. Like there has to be a stressful part of that when you're not making a single dollar.
Oh yeah, I mean, I came from professional ball where I didn't make it. I mean, I was a minor league player. Like I got drafted pretty good, but you don't make any money in the minor leagues. That's a whole nother story that people can look up online and the lawsuits and stuff. And then I didn't make any money, but I had a truck that was paid off. I didn't live anywhere. I didn't have rent and do anywhere. So like I didn't have the expenses or bills. I had some money saved. So I basically didn't spend it, lived within my means. And that experience in of itself was unique and awesome, but you go from it was kind of I had to swallow a big pill because I went from being on a stage, being a professional athlete every day, throwing in front of a stadium, kids asking for your autograph, living in the mountains of West Virginia, working for somebody else for free, learning something completely new. It was a big pill to swallow, but it's what I wanted to do, and that's what I seen the best option at the time. So that's the route I went.
What was the best thing that you took away from that internship that makes you successful today?
The friendships. I mean, like Josh there at the Untamed, they're still a big YouTube channel. They still produce awesome content. It's how he kept relationships and how he talked about the industry and things, how they were progressing. That was the big, rub off factor. It wasn't and it was the daily grind. So I learned the daily grind of every day, wake up early before the sun comes up, do what you need to do, make sure the batteries are charged, just staying on top of your daily tasks. But those relationships, I just seen how he carried himself, and then seeing him at ATA the year next, and then just we stayed in contact. And it's just, that's the stuff that you can't really put a dollar amount to. It's that rub off factor. And you just always got somebody to call up. If you have a question about the industry, you can just call them, and they probably went through it. So then you can ask them, and it's kind of like it's a buddy thing.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the Void and how that came to fruition, and kind of what is kind of the goals of that?
Yeah. So, well, it's the story. I should come out with a video about this just so people know. But so the Void is basically I'm filling the void of not having baseball anymore with hunting. That's basically what my purpose is, but it resonates with everybody. So a lot of people like my best friend, he goes in the woods on the weekends because he enjoys it and loves it, but he gets out of work. It's that simplicity. So he's filling the void of everyday life, the hustle and bustle, with the outdoors. So everybody has some type of space that they're filling that void of something, whether some people, unfortunately, are just getting away from their wives, like, or they just want to be left alone. Like there's something. That's kind of how I came up with that name. And I just dropped it to make it simple, the Void. And actually in the V, if you look, there's a baseball plate that I kind of hid in there in the logo, just because of what my past life used to be. But from there, I mean, I'm just going to continue pursuing that. I got 20 videos to launch within the next couple months. Like, I'm just going to pump out as much content as I possibly can. All the stuff that I bankrolled for years. I mean, sitting beside me right now, I got probably 100 terabytes of footage just laying here that I got to organize, go through, come up with some videos and slap them up there and see if I actually like them.
So going in with that, with having all that and terabytes of videos, do you think that it's better to stockpile? Like if somebody was to start, right, is it better to stockpile and build something? Or is it better as that instant gratification and put it out as you go? Like you put up a story killing something and edit it, like a hunting Publix type deal. You think that there's give or take in the both?
There is give or take in both. I would say, like, if you are gonna do it right away, you can't stop. That's the thing. Like, people, they want to do it right away, but then they don't hunt for a month and they don't do it. They don't show anything else. People lose traction because if you find somebody you like, it's a perfect example. Like with the
Midway USA has traditional cap and ball revolvers and accessories, along with the most modern inline muzzle-loading rifles. Cowboy action shooters and other fans of traditional black powder shooting will find a great selection of fully functioning replica Old West Army and Navy revolvers, plus all the necessary materials to help them go bang, like percussion caps, loaders, patches and wads, and round balls too. We carry a full line of inline rifles, as well as 209 primers, black powder substitutes, and bullets and sabots. For just about everything for black powder, shop midwayusa.com.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
Want to plan your next fishing trip without the hassle? FishingBooker.com is the best way to find and book a fishing charter anywhere in the world. Whether you're chasing trophy fish or just looking for a family day on the water, Fishing Booker makes it simple, fast, and secure. With thousands of experienced guides, verified reviews, and 24/7 customer support, Fishing Booker takes the guesswork out of planning. Visit FishingBooker.com and book your trip today. Fishing Booker. Fishing trips made easy.
The TikTok in today's world and social media, you find yourself, and I find my own self as a consumer, you find something that you like, then you go watch the next one. Watch the next one. Like right now, for whatever reason, this Bigfoot shows up on my phone and it's AI where the guy's talking. It looks like the Outdoor Boys. It's cool to me. It's just like, that's kind of my escape from editing is I just watch dumb things because it simplifies my brain. But
Mindless, yeah.
Mindless, exactly.
Yeah.
For me, I wanted to bankroll everything. I wanted years and years and years of stockpile. And basically, I watched myself. I can go back and watch how bad I was at videoing to how good I am now. And I'm not even – there's some guys that are phenomenal, but I'm good enough, in my opinion, for myself with what I do that it's way above average. So it's like that's what I like. Now, if the normal Joe Schmo that's working, that wants to just dabble in it on the side and has a handy cam, I would recommend just putting it out as you go because you're not going to progress in a fast enough pace that you're going to see the difference. Or mine, like I bought a professional camera, didn't color grade, didn't do slow motion, to got a better camera, started doing slow motion, color grading, to putting together like good edits, to making things seamless, transitions, to now it's like I can make a movie if I want. But does that what I want to do? I don't know. It's I get the content, stockpile it, and then I'm just gonna pump it out. And that's just me for my personal example.
Yeah, and I think I think both have their place, right? As you say, that working man that wants to dabble in it, that instant, as you kill something, you put it out. But I think that there's bad in that too, though, because the thing is, and you could probably relate to this, is the stress of having to get content. So if you start to build, like, myself, for example, like we have the podcast and then we have a YouTube, we have a handful of videos on there, some good ones, but they're average Joe Schmo stuff, like just what the average dude would go out and do. We're not crazy editors. I mean, iMovie is as far as we go. But it gets the job done. But the problem is we would kill a deer or a couple of deer. We would wait until the next year, right before September, start to launch them like everybody else does. Mm-hmm. But then you don't kill a deer that year. And now you're like, oh, man, now what do I do? I have nothing else.
And that's the thing where it'll the stress of the industry. Because, I mean, listeners might not know, but if you sign deals with companies and contracts, you're kind of obligated to do certain X, Y, and Z. And if you didn't killing, now the stress is on you. And now you're not Now you're not having fun. And that's not really the point of it. The point of hunting and the whole culture behind it is to enjoy Mother Nature and what we have and a resource. And it's a dying thing, but I like to showcase what I've done and where I've been. And it's and then I just like making cool videos. Like, it's just always like that creative aspect in it and that art. There's an art form. In your sense, yeah, you might get stuck and start feeling the pressure, and now you're feeling the pressure, and it's like, this ain't fun. Like,
no,
it's hard.
And one of the things is, right, so I'll kind of take you through it, Jake, and a lot of people kind of really haven't heard it, but this is a perfect opportunity to talk about it. Is like it was two of us that started it, and then we took on some more people. We were going to do the whole YouTube video thing. We had a couple of teammates, this, that, and the other thing. Well, then we started to build on it, and we started to add that stress. All right, yeah. We need film, we need content. Then it became unfun. I mean, like, because you're so driven and trying to get that content, and then, you know, we're arguing, guys are leaving, you know, all the typical stories that you hear of, right? And you see these guys come and go, and then I put the big time out on it, and I said, listen, boys, just go out and have fun. If you get a video, you get a video. If you don't, you don't. But I would rather have it be where it's from the heart, and it means well, and your passion's into it, because that's what people are going to see and read. We're not going to make $1 million. We all work construction. We all have normal jobs. Like, just go out and enjoy it, dude, because I don't want you at the end of the day to be upset that you're part of something and you had to get something on film. You know, that's not where we started. So it's tough because industry catches up with you, man. Because
it does. I can't lie to you. It caught up to me this spring. It's caught up to me in the fall before. But I recognize it right away. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, is like, because it's happened. So I recognize, okay, step back. You're having a killer season. Like last year, it was the first year in a long time I did not harvest a buck in my own home state. It was eating me alive. But then I stepped back at the end of the season and looked, and I was like, dude, I killed 2 bulls, a buck in Montana, like 2 bucks, one in Indiana, one in Michigan, another one in Ohio. Like I can't complain at all. Like but it was just that set. Like, I was like, okay, just relax a little bit. You had the best season of your life. Just remember that. So it is. I let the stress of the content get to me a little bit, but now it's back to square one and just having fun and that sharing the memories. And I went hunting with, you know, other people and watch them have success. And that to me was just as fun. Mm-hmm. That's what I will always remember. I'm not going to remember 10 years from now that I didn't harvest a buck. It's going to be like, no, I remember being in a tree with my girlfriend, her shooting a buck. I was on the ground. My buddy shot a buck for opening day, a rifle. Like, I'm going to remember that way more than my own stuff. So yeah, stepping back and remembering that stuff it's cool.
I think it's the most important thing, honestly, because, you know, when I had started out in this endeavor 10 years ago, I didn't, you know, I killed a couple of big bucks on film, thought it was the greatest thing thing ever. And then I was spending October, November hunting, traveling, going here, going there. And I kind of forgot where I came from. I didn't hunt with my dad for 3 or 4 years. I didn't hunt with my little brother, you know, and you think, and you're like, why? And then you go and hunt with them, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to go film my old man for the day. Like, who cares? If he shoots a doe, good. Like,
that's exactly, and I've caught myself. I haven't been hunting with my dad as much as I used to, but now we're going to go hunt this year together again. And, you know, I always got to remind myself, because I get really competitive, and that's kind of the bad thing. And the good thing is I like the most crispy footage you can possibly get. Like, that's just, I strive for that because I like the camera work aspect. but I got to remember that I'm doing this on such a small budget compared to other people out there that it's peanuts versus what they're spending on. And yeah, that's why I'm not probably at the end of the day getting that best possible stuff, is because and that's just realism of business. Like when you have a $10,000 budget versus a $200,000 budget that some of these television guys have for just their producing, you're gonna see a difference. And that's, I gotta dial it back and then just go film my dad.
Right. You need to have that simplicity. Like, it's funny, before I did this podcast, I was texting back and forth with you to try and find a time, and I had an hour before I got out of, before we were going to podcast, and I happened to be driving through my hometown. My fly rod's in the truck, and I stopped down at the lake. My nephew was down there swimming with my brother, and I stopped in there with the fly rod, and we caught 15 pumpkin seeds. And and it was just the greatest thing in the world, dude. I didn't have a camera. Because we film fishing all the time, and I didn't have a camera with me. And watching him unhook pumpkin seeds for an hour, I was like, all right, This is what it's all. This in a spot that I caught 100 fish when I was a kid. You forget about those things when you join the industry and you start to work to make a living here and doing that. Like, you forget about those things. And the 100%. One thing is, you cannot forget about those. You cannot forget about it.
No, because that was the whole reason you did it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me, and I went fishing yesterday. I only caught 2, but the point was, fishing, like fly fishing to me, I used to do it a lot, like a lot. And maybe in the future I'll get into making videos about it, but right now it's more of the just enjoy it. It's kind of my thing that I do that I don't film. If people want to, like, I have a friend of mine that wants to come just take photos to build his portfolio, by all means. But me personally, I'm fishing.
Right.
I'm just having fun with it, doing what I used to do. And that's you got to have something to step away. Like, you can't work all the time. That's why some people golf. I don't golf. I'm terrible at it. But.
You would think as a professional athlete you'd be good at golf too, no?
Yeah, we used to a lot, and I got decent. I'd shoot in the high 80s, but right now you couldn't. I bet you I couldn't get 100. So it's just like it's one of them things. But
and being so athletic and having that drive to succeed and do so well, you probably get super frustrated if you shot 100.
Oh yeah. And here's the kicker, I live on a golf course. And I have not golfed here besides one singular time. So as I get older and slow down, I'm going to do it just because, I have that opportunity, but it's like, man, it's something that I'm not doing right now because it's competitive, and I'm like, I still have that competitiveness in me.
Maybe just go bass fish the ponds on the golf course. It might be easier for you.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now this time of year to kind of set yourself up to be successful for the upcoming season, to prep and kind of do that to make your season be what you want it to be?
So, I mean, last year, like I said, I wasn't successful in my home state. And I mean, that competitiveness comes out in me. I'm not going to let that happen again. So I got lots of work to do. So I got cameras to put out everywhere. I have Moultrie cells to throw out. I did a lot of scouting this year, preseason. So back in April and March and even into back in February, we had a pretty rough winter. So we had a lot of snow, but I got out as much as I could. And then I have history of places. So I got a couple spots that just historically, over 5-6 years of building intel, I know like pinch points and stuff that I can always go back to. And then, honestly, there's 2 bucks that still are living there that I hunted 3 years ago that are both really big. So it's kind of nice knowing that I don't have to go find a new one. That history of different areas is where I'm going to start focusing, throwing the cameras up, getting in there early. Because I leave in the end of August into September and don't come back until hunting season. So I have to be prepared way beforehand, which sometimes it puts me in a bind because September is a phenomenal time to be scouting on that, where the hot scrapes are popping up, where these bucks are moving into food sources. That is like the time to be in the woods, but I'm not here. So I have to kind of do my part to find them before that actually happens and kind of take chances.
And not being in the state or anywhere, so you have to set those cameras strategically, get all of your intel, because it's not like you can go in there and move a camera to find out that they're on the next ridge over.
No, so I'm literally I have breakdowns, I have charts, I got notes everywhere here on my desk, of where I'm putting cameras in place where the bucks I think are going to be come mid to late October already, like pre-rut. That's where I'm focusing in June and July, because that's where I don't have time to readjust. It's gonna be I'm basically putting eggs in the basket there, putting them on scrape, some pinch points, historical sign that I've found. That is, and then from the historical sign, if I start getting intel, is where I'll dive back in during season as soon as I get back, and that's where I'll put 2-3 days of boot leather on the ground doing giant circles. Yeah, you might bump a deer or two, but then I have the rest of the season to hunt them, is how I look at it. Where otherwise you don't know what's going on. You're kind of guessing.
What was some of the trials and tribulations that you went through last season that didn't make you successful?
Well, I didn't find, so I hunted some giant deer. For Pennsylvania standards, I was hunting a couple mega giant 60s, one pushed 170. Just for public land, like they're giant. And I couldn't, they disappeared on me. I seen them in velvet. I had some pictures of them, but they disappeared on me that September, October period, and I couldn't turn them up until November. And then by the time I got on them, I seen the one, I bounced too many times. I didn't trust my gut. So like that was a big thing for me is me hunting other states. Some guys might hunt other states. Every time I was out of state, he would show up in daylight like 2-3 days in a row. And then I'd rush home and sit there for 3 days and not see him, and then leave to go to Ohio, and he'd show back up, and I just basically was chasing my tail. And then they all got killed in gun season by day 2, so I didn't have anything to go off of. All my intel, I basically put all my eggs into, there was 4 deer. They all were shot within the first day of gun season, so I had to go the whole gun season with just kind of, I don't know where the big mature deer are at. I'm kind of back to square one like everybody else is. And I got on a couple nice deer, but it didn't feel right. I didn't want to just shoot any deer. I was chasing mature, like really old historical deer that I've had on camera. And I just kind of held myself to a really high standard last year, which was fine. But again, I ate the tag because of it, but that's okay.
I think that people don't, and that's one of the things, like talk about, the industry and kind of circling this all back as one comes in, like nobody sees what goes into it. Nobody sees what is taken from it. Like as far as you put all of the work into it, you hunted a ton of times. It's not that you were unsuccessful because you were there and you were doing it. You just didn't fill the tag and it didn't work out that doesn't make you a bad hunter, right?
There's an aspect of luck that comes involved with hunting. Like you got to put yourself in the right position at the right time, and then you have to have a little luck on your side. And I just didn't have it. Like there was 3 different scenarios last year that I was sitting in a tree, and I flipped a coin, and I came to this tree instead of the other pinch that's 300 yards away. Checked the camera on the way out. He was there twice. Like it's one of those things. Like you're that close but that far away at the same time. And it's just choosing those small, and that's the problem with the big timber, like big woods that we both live in. It's not the Midwest hunting. It's not where they run into a rut funnel and they're down in the river bottom or something. This is basically some of those places that I'm talking about. Like I had a big giant community scrape on the top of the mountain on a south facing slope. Like from there, he could go down the mountain. He could go back across a big plateau. He could go along the face of the mountain to the east. He could go along the face of the mountain to the west. Like there, he can go in any direction. The food sources are the same. Cover's pretty much the same. Changes in elevation. Like that's the hardest part is like, what are they doing? Why, when, and where? And unfortunately, the state was in there for this particular. He was a Big 12, with inline. I mean, he's just really, really big. And the state was back there doing clearing brush right where I had him pinned. Like I knew he lived in this small micro hollow, and they were cutting line. So like it was right near the edge of private and public. So it was one of those, borderline deer. So you couldn't really chase them as far as you want. Mm-hmm. They were right there cutting line and remarking trees in the rut. Where like November 3rd, they were in there. I was like, I found them the first. And then 2 days later they're in there cutting. I'm like, it just bad luck. It happens.
That's totally part of it when it comes to the big woods that we both do hunt, is that those, and bringing back what you were saying, you said you had a scrape on a south facing slope and he could go this way, that way. The thing is, when you're hunting in those big woods, and a lot of people will say that those big mature bucks want to stay covered, they can stay covered 365 degrees in any way that they travel. So yeah, you can put pinch points together, you can find funnels, so on and so forth, but that deer has 10 different features that he can follow to have to try and get on them.
Yep, 100%. And that's the challenge of the timber. Mountain hunting. It's not that you don't know what you're doing. It's just you know that they're there. The signs there. The intel's there. Are they going to repeat it today, or are they going to repeat it in 6 hours when it's dark out? And that's the issue. I've hunted the Midwest. They have their own challenges, with private. You don't have the big pieces of public. But to me, living and breathing it, I've done it. It definitely is easier. 100%. You can narrow things down way faster. Like when you're in that big ag country and they cut all the beans and they cut all the corn, and and you're sitting in a tree and you can basically see across a field for 800 yards. Well, they're not out there. They're either in here or they're not in here at all. Like so that's kind of the different aspect of hunting in general. And that's kind of why I love traveling, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. It just, you get to see and experience different hunting scenarios, aspects. They all have their own challenges, and hunting big mature deer in the Midwest probably is just as difficult because of factors, like they know not to go into a certain pinch because they've seen somebody there before. There's access is maybe harder. Like they all have challenges, but for timber, for me, it's just, you got to have a little luck. You just have to have luck.
I've been saying this for a long time, and I'm waiting for someone to take me up on the challenge, Jake, is you take some boys from New England and you put them up against some boys from the Midwest. We go and hunt, like, Jake, me, you, and the boys, we'll go down to hunt the Midwest, and we'll see how successful it is against a couple of Midwest boys, and then bring them Midwest boys up to the Northeast and see how they fare up here, because it's a totally different ball game.
I just think the learning curves are so much bigger here in the timber, because you can't see, you got to look at it as a different perspective. Like you said, they can go in any direction and they are in cover. Where when you find certain things in the ag country or broken country, they're not going to hit a scrape in the middle of the day and then, well, they sometimes do, but they go straight across the open field by themselves. They're going to stick to cover. They're going to stick to a drain, some type of topography line, go around certain features. So there's things you can narrow down a lot faster than timber.
Well, you know what? We have to add all those features, all that good stuff, and then we have this beautiful thing called thermals.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and the deer knows how to use them to their advantage, right? So when we hunt the Midwest, we know that, say, on a northwest wind, you have to be downwind here, there. They're going to come through this pinch, right? Yeah, you can do that in our country. But then you add the thermals to it, and he's using that to his advantage as he travels the side hill to get to you. Now what? So there's some spots that are just they're unhuntable.
And that's another key point that, I caught myself doing. I was hunting, I hunted all those different bucks, and I bounced around and stuff. But I caught myself, I learned this at the end of the season, unfortunately, but I was hunting a deer that basically he wasn't killable in that location. I thought it was, but it wasn't. Like, you got to find a huntable location on top of a huntable deer. There's some deer that just aren't huntable depending on where they're at. For some, they're not huntable because they're on the neighbors, like they're on private. Like they're not huntable. They stay there through dark. They feed on you or whatever. But in the timber aspect, he just wasn't huntable with the terrain features and my access, and because I'd be busting too much brush, and it just wasn't. I couldn't do it. So that was a factor for me.
Well, and that's one thing that we, hunting the mountains here is that you have to hunt the deer where the deer wants to be hunted, I guess is the way I put it. Because, like, you can't hunt him where you want to hunt him. You have to hunt him what is good for him, not for what is for you. And that's super hard to find sometimes.
Especially bow hunting, because I love bow hunting so much. But I've caught myself in the filming world, I've been setting up where I'm going to get good film, but that's not where you kill them. You kill them where you can't see for 30 yards, and he comes through there and he's within kill range. That's a killable area versus the opposite, where I set up in big timber on an edge where, you might get a glimpse of, you might see him, but it's going to be low light and he's going to be in the open and too far to shoot. Like, there's too many variables.
Well, so, we want to watch them from 75 yards, come down, make a scrape,
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't work like that.
No.
Never worked like that for me.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't work like that, and you tend to put yourself in the position to try and do so. And that's another thing that's super tough is when you're filming, right? You're trying to put them in a small area to be able to take a shot, knowing that you can film. Are you a saddle hunter or a stand hunter?
Saddle hunter.
Saddle hunter. So it even makes it even harder, because there's sometimes that those mature bucks, they might not come to that scrape. They're going to be on that downwind side. They might not enter that scrape. So now you're shooting them on your off side, where typically, depending on how you set up, your camera arm is there.
Yeah. There's a lot of parameters that go into it, and at the end of the day, for me, the footage is what I love. It really is. It's a challenge for me personally. I told myself I'm never going to go in the woods and kill a deer off footage. It's not worth it to me. To a lot of people, they're like, well, that's the complete opposite of what I would do, which is fair.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not who I am. That's not why I did what I do. That's me. So footage is first, killing them second.
Have you killed a deer that wasn't on footage?
No.
Want to plan your next fishing trip without the hassle? FishingBooker.com is the best way to find and book a fishing charter anywhere in the world. Whether you're chasing trophy fish or just looking for a family day on the water, Fishing Booker makes it simple, fast, and secure. With thousands of experienced guides, verified reviews, and 24/7 customer support, Fishing Booker takes the guesswork out of planning. Visit FishingBooker.com and book your trip today. Fishing Booker. Fishing trips made easy.
For almost 50 years, Midway USA has been America's go-to source for just about everything for shooting, hunting, and the outdoors. Go to midwayusa.com to see our latest deals and promotions and take advantage of our super fast same-day shipping. If you need a cooler, a new fishing rod, another rifle, ammo, or a reloading press, you can find it all at midwayusa.com. Thanks for your business. Midway USA brand product designers have one straightforward goal: develop high-quality, technically sound products and deliver them to customers at reasonable prices. If you are immersed in the shooting sports industry and pay close attention to every single detail, you know our products are built right and stand up to everyday use. Who has shooting mats and range bag systems to hunting clothing and just about everything for the outdoors? Log on and shop 24/7 with super fast shipping. MidwayUSA.com.
No, and I think and I think that's some people. I'm with you, Jake, 100%. Me and you are on the same page. I will not. Well, I take that back. I have killed one deer that wasn't on film, and I had a camera, but that was a totally different story. Just because it just never worked out where it was on film. But there's a couple of guys that I know that the kill comes first, the film comes second. But that's their prerogative. Hats off to you, man. That's what you want. That's what you want to get out of this, man. I'm not going to take that away from you by any means. It's the same with turkey hunting. If I don't have a turkey on film, I'm not killing them. It's just not happening. It's I think like you, going back and watching that film is the most incredible thing in the world.
I can relive exactly that moment. And it's this, I take that same thought process and ask people why they put a traditional bow in their hand. It's the same thing. You could easily kill them with a compound. You could probably kill more because you have a compound, but the traditional guys want them at 10 yards. That same thought process. Like, they don't want to kill them at 30. They want them at 10. And for me, I want to kill them on footage. So it's one of those things. I mean, like that last year, I mean, technically, you didn't see the kill shot. I killed one in Ohio. You don't see the kill, but it's on me. The film is on me because there was just no other opportunity. It was, and that's again, that, and literally the last hour of the season. So I was like, I had a kid that I was teaching some film stuff, and he's like, I can't see him. I'm like, then just film me, and then when I shoot, try to find him. And that's what we did. And it was phenomenal. I loved it just as much.
But it was still on film.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
just different. It was just different aspect. So, that, and I have a friend of mine, Kyle, that I've been traveling all over with. He's the same way. He had passed up a deer last year that people would think you are so dumb for passing. I mean, mid-70s. 20 yards, like you can see him on film, but by the time it's on film, he said he couldn't draw his bow back because he was self-filming. I was supposed to be with him that day, but I wasn't. And he didn't kill that deer. He ended up not killing that deer at all. And then the neighbor ended up wounding it in gun season. Big, long story, tracking it onto his land, blowing all the deer out. It just... But he took that. He takes that very seriously. It was on film, but he couldn't draw his bow back, and the deer's looking at him. Where he's like, if I was with him, it would have been right there. Did everything right, knew everything that was going on with the deer. Big long history story with it, and would have been awesome. But it just wasn't. But that challenge is what keeps him going. That's what keeps me going, and that's. That extra little bit of challenge with bow hunting is just the ultimate for me. Is when it does come together, it's so rewarding, and that's what I live for.
Yeah, no, I'm total in agreement with you, man. People don't get it or understand it until they do it, right? And they're like, "You're so crazy. Why would you not?" I've had the camera cost me deer in the point of I was saddle hunting. Perfect scenario. I was saying, offside, and literally drew the bow. What would be the biggest deer I would have shot in my home state? Drew the bow, wasn't paying attention to where the camera arm was. It was on my offside. The camera arm was right there. I'm filming. When I let go, my cam hit the camera arm, and the arrow just goes ploop, and it goes right up over the top of him. It actually nicked the deer's ear. I caught the deer's ear, and it was because I hit my camera arm. It was all on film. And then that's a crazy story. That deer ended up.
You always remember that. That's the thing. Like, I'm also the other reason I started filming is so I could show my friends and family and future kids and things like that. Like, I've watched videos before of like Michael Waddell and those guys like watching stuff that they did in Kansas from like 2004, and they and as soon as they see the clip, they're like, oh yeah, he comes through, and they know it. They know it and they remember it because they get to relive that exact moment. They're like, man, that was a cool hunt. Like it brings them back to that exact spot 25 years later.
I wish Steve was on the podcast with us. Steve is a huge Monster Bucks fan, and literally Steve will verbatim, word for word, call out some of the hunts that them boys would have on Monster Bucks. Like, and he wasn't even there. He just watches all the hunts. So, like, what does that say? What is that going to be, Jake, in 10, 15 years when our kids are out there watching it? They'll be like, oh, Jake was out there, and he got that deer in Ohio, and it's just cool. That's what it's all for, man.
Exactly, and that's half the reason I do what I do, and I hope. And if I ever lose that like buck fever, I call it camera fever because it's the same thing. Like I know like this is gonna be sweet. I'm getting ready. Like if I lose that, that's when I'll hang it up. But for right now, I'm ate up with it, and I'm not gonna stop anytime soon.
Here on the Outdoor Drive, we call that getting browned out. Jake, why don't you tell everybody, man, where they can find you, kind of check on you, follow along with what you got going on, and kind of keep up with the stories.
Yeah, so just on Instagram and YouTube, The Void Hunt is where I'm putting all the hunting stuff and fishing related, just basically everything. Then my personal Jake Belinda, and everything's kind of sublinked together, but I'm going to be pumping out a lot of videos here on the Void Hunts YouTube channel the next couple weeks. I mean, I got elk stuff, I got mule deer, I got antelope, I got whitetail stuff. As fast as I can get it done is as fast as I'm going to be putting it up there. But I'm a one-man show, so give me a little bit of leeway there. I'm not a full production team. I still got to do the daily task of cutting the grass, I'm fixing a fence, trying to do trail cameras. There's a lot, but then the 30, 40 hours a week in editing adds up quick.
And I'll put the link below, just so that guys can click on it pretty quick and easy, so they can check right here in the show notes. Jake, before I cut you loose, man, we ask everybody this, and I'd love to ask you this too, man. We'd like to know what drives you outdoors.
It's gonna have to be the filming. Like it just, for me, that's the lifestyle I love living. Like capturing Mother Nature. I grew up watching Marty Stauffer and Wild America, and I've been drawn to just the Mother Nature and deer, turkeys, no matter what it is in their own element. As much as I like harvesting them, I also like watching them. So I'm a conservationist at heart, and I want that resource to be there forever. So it's just Mother Nature as a whole.
You mean that you're not a savage, bloodthirsty killer? You mean that we're hunters?
I get angry at them. I do. Like I get angry at turkeys but I try to still do my part to save that resource. I take what I can. Like I seen a post this summer or this spring, but it was I had 2 tags, but I only filled 1, and it's just because I didn't see the numbers. I don't try to take more off a farm, even though I could. It's just that type of mentality is. If more people carry that, I think our numbers will start balancing themselves out.
And that's what we're here for. We're conservationists at heart. We're conservationists first and foremost. before we are anything else, and we're the reason why there is a wild turkey population here in North America, because 30 years ago there wasn't. I mean, my state in itself didn't have a turkey season when I started turkey hunting. I mean, that's just the way that it was until it got it up and running. So that is definitely the way it is.
Gotta do their little part.
Yeah. We all have to do our little part, man. In our state, they give us 5 tags for turkeys. 5.
That's crazy.
And you wonder why we don't have turkeys. And the thing is, that really upsets me about it, is when you allow the 5 tags, 3 of those 5 for most people are jakes.
Yeah.
And that was a useless tag to be punching, because those jakes were absolutely pointless to conservation. They were pointless to breeding. They was pointless to everything. They're just non-existent.
Yep. They're not a breed, so I completely agree.
It's tough. Jake, we really appreciate you jumping on with us, man. Thank you so much. Looking forward to following along and see what you got, and the best of luck to you this season.
Yeah, man. Stay in touch.
Absolutely. And for everybody else, thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.
Hey, what's up, happy people? This is Robert Arrington from Deer Meat for Dinner. If you're into bow fishing like I am, you need to check out Cajun Bow Fishing. I've been using their gear for years, from the Sucker Punch Pro to the Winch Pro Reel. It's tough, it's reliable, and it works. Whether you're just getting started or you're ready to take the step to the next level, head over to CajunBowfishing.com and check out everything Cajun Bow Fishing has to offer. I trust their gear because it works. So if you're hitting the water soon, make sure you're rigged up with Cajun Bow Fishing. You will not regret it.
Create stories for life on a Scenic Eclipse Mediterranean voyage. With Scenic, it's more than a journey of a lifetime. It's ultra-luxury cruising along elegant European Rivieras and idyllic Italian coastlines. It's being immersed in the history and culture of glamorous cities, towns, and villages. It's colorful architecture, landscapes, and regional cuisine. Scenic Eclipse, in a class of its own. Book your all-inclusive voyage now and save.